Good afternoon, everyone, and thanks for joining the Halal in Travel Global Summit hosted by Crescent Rating. And thanks for joining us today for our panel session, and it's titled When is the Right Time? Importance of Capacity Building and Destination Preparedness. So I'm glad that you're joining us today. My name is Eunice, and I'm the Singapore Discipline Lead in Tourism and Events at the Murdoch University's Singapore campus. So I've been an educator in tourism and hospitality since 2004, and I've also been a practitioner in tourism, hospitality, services sector for probably about last 3 decades. And in other than education and training, I also do consultation and customized programs. So I always find it a joy to be able to work with our friends from the industry and our partners and stakeholders. So today's session, thank you for joining us. And so we're looking at the importance of capacity building and destination preparedness. Now, as this is a recorded session, so you may email any questions that you have at the end of this via Crescent Rating, and we'll get back to you. So as we've seen from some of the discussions in this summit over the last days, the objective of the session that we have today is looking at importance of capacity building and destination preparedness. So in this session today, we'll be looking at how the disruptions in travel in the last 15 months have, destinations gone about continuing to build capacity and capabilities. And as we see a glimmer of hope in the reopening of travel, what would be the primary focus of destinations in capacity building in the short and medium term? So I have 2 esteemed and wonderful panelists with us here today, and they are Mr. Carel Stadler and Mr. Riyanto Sofyan. So please allow me to introduce our panelists. Our first panelist, Mr. Carel Stadler, is the Marketing Partnership Manager at Cape Town Tourism. And Carel is a seasoned travel and tourism professional with more than 20 years of experience in assisting customers to fulfill their domestic and international travel needs. He has extensive knowledge of global destinations and has excelled in developing custom-built itineraries. He has applied his entrepreneurial attitude to every job that he takes on and significantly contributed to Cape Town Tourism's strategic objectives. Carel also manages various programs and partners to represent CTT at diverse trade platforms to ensure that Cape Town is a destination that delivers on its market needs. Carel is also using his astute business acumen to help him in identifying CTT's needs to further its reach and involvement in product development to offer new and differentiated experiences. So he has spearheaded programs such as the Neighborhood Experience Development Program that promotes tourism products and supports sustainable SME development. Carel has also implemented multi-stakeholder trade hosting programs to allow the trade to experience Cape Town firsthand and fall in love with the city and sell the destination to its audiences. So the CTT Muslim-friendly tourism program that he manages was initiated to get the city halal ready to attract the lucrative Muslim travel market. So welcome, Carel, to our session today. And thank you for joining us from Cape Town.
Thank you for that wonderful introduction and greetings from Cape Town.
Okay, thank you. And I shall now introduce our second esteemed panelist, and Mr. Riyanto Sofyan. He's the chairman of Sofyan Corp. So Mr. Sofyan has more than 38 years of experience in conducting business in the fields of hotel and property. This includes more than 28 years of experience in successfully developing and managing the transformation strategies to implement halal and Sharia compliance concepts. He has achieved this by maintaining inclusivity that can be accepted by all market segments and contribute to the industry's growth. In 2012, Riyanto was also appointed as the strategic partner of the Ministry of Tourism for the Republic of Indonesia in developing halal tourism. He was also appointed as the chairman of the team for accelerated development of halal tourism, responsible directly to the Ministry of Tourism until 2019. He's actively involved in various industry associations, among them the Indonesian Halal Tourism Association, Indonesian Hotel and Restaurant Association, and Indonesian Association of Islamic Economists. So welcome, Riyanto, to our session.
Thank you for the opportunity and greetings from Jakarta.
Yes, so thank you again for joining us on this session. And so to get our session going and just to kind of get the ball rolling for today's topic, perhaps if you would like to share with us, gentlemen, on your opinion on why you think capacity building is important in strengthening the destination's preparedness and resilience for crisis events such as, COVID-19 that we are facing now.
Great. So shall I start?
Yes, sure.
I think that even when Cape Town as a destination was performing really well in 2019, our tourism levels were still a long way away from over-tourism that was being reported by destinations such as Amsterdam, Venice, and Reykjavik. Even so, we were starting to experience bottlenecks at some of our large attractions. I mean, Table Mountain, definitely South Africa's most iconic landmark, we're sometimes experiencing queues exceeding 4 hours at a time. So they were significantly able to alleviate that by introducing digital ticketing solutions that could be purchased online or on mobile phones, and then increasing the operating hours and the cable car frequency where possible. Another example, as a developing country, capacity building is also a very important tool for us to address socio-economic issues by developing tourism product in previously disadvantaged areas. Then another example, I think we had a bit of a trial run. Another example is of the importance of capacity building was when Cape Town experienced severe drought in 2018. The messaging and actions taken by the sector were very critical to our survival. And I think that's pretty much the case right now. So for us, being prepared and consistent, that's our approach in dealing with the COVID pandemic at the moment.
Okay, so in terms of the combination of the, building the capacity, as you say, with the social economic, looking at disadvantaged areas, and then linking that to resilience in moving ahead, or what we call renewal in this tourism situation right now.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, wow, thank you. And how about Riyanto? How about from your perspective?
Yes, for Indonesia, I think in strengthening the destination preparedness and resilience to this COVID-19 pandemic, it has to have the capacity. It needs a lot of capacity building because we have to have an integrated crisis management system. That is, the main objective is to maintain the availability and also the implementation of the health protocols throughout the stakeholders of the tourism industries. That includes the industry players, the professionals, the communities, and also the governments. And this type of thing is really, there are three keywords in establishing this integrated system. One is to adapt, second one is to innovate, and the third one is to collaborate. Why we have to adapt? Because everything now is different. You have to adapt to the products, services, and the offerings to cater the current needs and preferences while instilling the health protocols, right? And the other thing is also you have to innovate. So what kind of tourism products and services and offerings that can be established in this kind of condition? It's more and more people going into a healthy lifestyle. So mostly the product will cater is the more to nature, outdoors, and also wellness. Yeah, so this type of things has to have a collaboration also, because to revive and to strengthen the preparedness of destination and also the industry players, the most important aspect is the cash flow management. You have to survive. For the industry players, all the income is going down to zero, plummeted to zero. Yeah. Even though when there is a relaxation, it has never come into the full revenue before the COVID-19.
Yes.
So in that terms, you have to overhaul your business model to minimize the fixed overhead and collaborate with your vendors, the suppliers, and all the stakeholders involved to create like a bundling package that is really workable and also give mutual benefits to all the parties involved. So all of this needs capacity building from the industry itself and also from the government. From the government side is the health protocols, and from the industry side is sort of like the improvement of the human resources capabilities, and also like travel patterns to collaborate on the stakeholders involved.
I see. Okay, thank you. Yes, and so the idea of this integrated system, I think that's something that we were discussing as well. And can you perhaps maybe share with us, whether is it Carel or Riyanto, share with us some of these capacity building programs that you have seen or that your country or destination has introduced in the tourism sector in order to try to forward, this during the pandemic in some of these capacity building programs?
Yes. The main capacity programs that we have right now is we call it the Indonesian Care certification program. It actually consists of like a quality assurance system, in strengthening all the product, services, and offering in the Indonesia tourism industry with the aspect of cleanliness, health, safety, and environmental friendly. So this actually we have. The Ministry of Tourism has already set some sort of like ISO system that all the industry players and also the destination will be certified. And this is subsidized by the government. Improves the capacity building to adjust the system into your products or your professionalism. So that's one main thing. We call it the Indonesia Care certification program.
I see.
The second one that we do is also the Indonesia Care Plus capacity building program. That's also encourage the people that already certified with the Indonesia Care CSSE program to encourage them also with the Muslim-friendly requirements of services, such as the Halal certification of your restaurant, and also the capacity building for the professionals in how to cater and how to know the needs of Muslim travelers, and also the most important part is the capacity building program for creating new attractions and events that is compelling to the Muslim travelers, but also adjusting to the present preferences and conditions.
Okay, great. Thank you for sharing that. But before we come back to that, Carel, do you have any examples that you'd like to share, and then we can...
Great. So I think prior to the global pandemic, capacity building and specifically the distribution and variety of tourism product was already key to our successful tourism landscape.
Yeah.
It has been our focus to diversify our market and to appeal to a wider range of travelers. And whilst, like any destination, we have our iconic attractions and locations, it's also important for us to provide the tourists with a diverse offering across various spaces. So capacity building has always been a priority for us. I think for us, it was mainly about finding ways to continue programs that we've already initiated, given the restrictions and the challenges caused by the lockdown regulations during the pandemic. So in some instances, it also gave us the opportunity to pause, to relook, and also find ways to improve our efforts. So some of the programs that I would like to mention is for our Muslim-friendly Cape Town program that we've started in partnership with Crescent Rating. We have implemented several initiatives that are geared towards developing the Muslim-friendly tourism market. One of our main focuses has been to educate our industry to cater to the Muslim traveler. The pandemic has given me the opportunity to explore the reasons why the uptake has not been as successful as expected, and also to implement changes to that program. Our Neighborhood Experiences Development Program promotes sustainable tourism in disadvantaged areas, but it also caters directly to the needs of the traveler by providing cultural immersive experiences. By developing neighborhoods, we encourage visitors to explore outside of the city, so, the open spaces, and not only answering to the needs of capacity, but also bridging the socio-economic gaps of a developing destination. We've also started new programs during this, so I don't know how much time we've got, whether you'd like me to explain more about that. But for us, capacity building has always been a priority. And now, together with safety protocols that's strictly regulated, we continue our programs to make sure that we can cater to a diverse audience.
Okay, and actually that's wonderful, and I'm seeing some messages that are common from both what Riyanto was sharing and Carel as well, particularly with the Muslim traveler market. Riyanto was talking about innovation and collaboration, particularly in terms of like health, security, trust. They're saying that trust is like the new currency, nowadays in this pandemic. And then later, Carel, you were talking about how you can harness that with new programs. I mean, people have changing needs and concerns during this pandemic, and how you have to also look at the protocols that travelers are concerned with. So, in your mind, as we transition right into this, as we call it, the next normal, or as we renew and reactivate tourism, as we look at reopening. So with what we have discussed so far, what do you think are some of the key areas or the primary focus in capacity building and destination preparedness that you in your country would be focusing on as we move forward, as we pivot, into this new environment that we're in? Riyanto, would you like to start with?
Okay. Our primary focus will be, first thing is in capacity building on strengthening the industry players through technical assistance workshop in the aspect of operational management and HR development. In the perspective of CHSE certification, which is the cleanliness, health, safety, and environmental friendly. This is actually the essence of this capacity building is moving towards the quality tourism, because our strategy now is to quality tourism rather than mass tourism.
Yes.
You know why? Because we have the maximum capacity that you have to operate in the theme park, or in the hotels, in the restaurant, or maybe in banquet rooms or in function. So that's the only thing, the way that you can survive is going to the quality tourism. So it improves the competency of the professional, and also the products, and also the destination itself. And on the destination preparedness, the primary focus will be on innovation in adjusting the new normal to the new normal mega trends? What are the preferences? Yeah. So this kind of thing needs also capacity building that creating the travel patterns and how to what you call it arranging the collaboration that give that create a synergy among the players. Yes.
Okay, thank you. And how about from your side, Carel?
I think we cannot deny that the impact on the tourism sector globally has been catastrophic.
Yeah.
But developing countries have felt it greater, and I think that we will continue to feel the impact for a much longer time to come. And although we will always be mindful of and consider capacity building in our sector, the immediate priority for us is the return of the visitors. We are currently nowhere near the figures we achieved prior to the pandemic, and our industry continues to bleed, having recently entered another severe lockdown. Also, our slow vaccination rate is another factor that could impact on our recovery. We will have to work much harder to correct the perceptions that was created, and the industry will have to ensure that all protocol and safety measures are strictly adhered to in order for us to rebuild confidence in Cape Town as a destination of choice. So for us, ensuring that we remain safe and rebuild confidence with tourists is definitely our primary focus in the foreseeable future. And once we've got the wheels of tourism turning consistently again, we will start focusing on increasing our offerings and diversity. Only then that capacity building will become a main focus for us again.
Okay. And it was interesting actually looking at, what y'all were sharing on how the situation across destinations is unique, because as Carel, you were saying, how developing destinations or those facing more vulnerability from lockdowns and the economic constraints. And earlier, Riyanto was talking about how we need to address some of those concerns about mass tourism and unsustainable development, developing what we call quality. So pivoting towards this whole quality. So do you think, in your opinions, in terms of, as we renew and move forward, how do we then address these kind of, situations with the sustainability concerns in mind? What do you think? What are your opinions?
For me, yeah, I think one of the things that to achieve the sustainability development on our products and offerings, the main important thing is, of course, this is a business, right? I mean, you have to have a good return or a health return on your investment, whether the investment is on the HR development and also on the product developments and product and services development. So in that case, what we do in Indonesia, I think we create one of the things that serve the natures or the adventures tourists that objective is we create a glamping. Glamping is a glamorous camping sites and resorts, because the investment is not really that much, but it really creates and also cater the needs of current preferences in the travel industry. So that's one of the things. And the other thing is also what we create over here is there's a lot of this is one of the promotion that we can do. I think there's a lot of glamping resorts available in Indonesia, and it's very unique and attractive. And on the other thing is also we develop like a tourism village. So it really is empowered the local wisdom and the authenticity of the culture that can be what you call it create in a safe and comfortable manners.
Okay.
from.
Well, yes, thank you for sharing those examples, and certainly bringing in terms of a more community centric perspective. And also the idea of, I like what you said about the idea of, going outdoors, people looking for more personalized and customized experiences as we try to avoid, crowds and get back to the outdoors. And so, Carel, in your case for, Cape Town, do you have other similar
Yeah, sorry, excuse me. Cape Town being a long haul destination, we do not have the problem of mass tourism. And then I think we are not your typical city. I think there's very few cities in the world. I could think of Rio de Janeiro as only one of them. We have a national park running right through the center of our city. So our destination automatically caters to the need of the traveler that's looking for open spaces. I mean, we're one of the very cities in the world where you literally have to drive 10 minutes and you can do paragliding from the top of the hill right in the center of our city. So we have the open spaces, we have the ocean, the beaches, the nature reserves, all of that already in our city, catering to the need of the traveler that's looking for open spaces. And then also, if you go back to our programs that we've initiated, they're all very much driven by sustainability in mind. If you look at our Neighborhood Experiences Development Program, if you look at our Muslim-friendly Cape Town program. So at the basis of all of this is sustainability. So that's always been a big focus for us.
Okay, I see. Yes, and I think that links in with what you were talking about just now in terms of the confidence in the offerings that you are providing at your destination and the diversity of the experiences that are being offered.
We've got a wide variety of experiences that we've always thought that is our USP, is the diversity that we offer from culture to culinary to adventure, all of that available in our city.
Yes, and I think I've been looking at a lot of some of the discussions out there talking about the importance of such, personalization or customization, being in terms of moving away from the mass conventional type of tourism to unique experiences that support such of these, sustainable and local capacity building and community resilience building. And I remember being in a discussion just last week, where they were saying that resilience building isn't about going back to business as usual, and how do we, pivot, how do we renew it in a different way to reorient it. So I'm aware that, our great discussion here, but we're running a little bit behind and out of time. So maybe any last words from you gentlemen in terms of, your thoughts moving forward, particularly if you want to apply to, say, the Muslim travel market, with what we're talking today about capacity building and, preparedness.
Yeah, well, I think for Indonesia, as what Carl said, I think you have to have the unique selling proposition. So the authenticity of your destination and product offerings, I think, is the keywords on how to survive on this. Also, I think one of the things also that you have to address is the health protocol. So you have to build the confidence of you have to gain the confidence of the tourists, and also you have to it has to be implemented in the professionals and the products.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, great, thank you. And Carel, how about yourself?
I think it's definitely for us, it's a focus to actually rebuild the reputation of our destination. South Africa has been hit really hard with what was called the second strain. And I think that we have been hit really hard. We've been on the red list of many countries. So for us, it's about correcting that perception and also to ensure that travelers realize that we are offering a safe environment in order for them to come and experience our destination.
Okay, so looking at rebuilding, looking at, trying to look at resilience building, looking at safety. And I think the idea of, safety protocols moving forward, and the idea of collaboration, I think not only at the destination, but in terms of the international networks. I mean, if we're talking about global tourism, the mobility issue of, health protocols and travel protocols between destinations, this is another thing that we need to also address in terms of preparing, right? Destination preparedness. And it's not just like my destination or your destination. We as a global network and village have to work towards that together. So I think it's wonderful that we have sessions like that we can learn from each other and so forth. Okay, so I'm aware of the time, so I'm seeing that flashing light at me. So I think I shall wrap up for today's session. And thank you again, both of you, for being here and sharing your expertise from both your destinations, looking at, capacity building and destination preparedness. Because now, as we look at the glimmer of, slowly transitioning into this renewal of tourism, and these are things that certainly we would have to keep in mind as well. So thank you for joining us today in this session.